Yo, what's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome into the Bulls Report. My name is Patrick Siepman. Coming up in today's show, I wanted to discuss the possibility of the Bulls trading up in the 2024 NBA draft to go get Donovan Clingan, as he is my number one draft target for Chicago. And then a more likely option, I think, for the Bulls at pick 11 is Colorado forward Cody Williams, who is the younger brother of Thunder Jalen Williams. And I am absolutely starting to fall in love with him as a fit for the Chicago Bulls. We'll be deep diving into him on the second half of today's video. But let's get the good vibes going here first. No matter if it's the Bulls trading up for Donovan Clingan or they sit at that pick 11 spot and they take either Cody Williams or maybe a guy like Dalton Connect, if you want the Bulls to nail this year's draft pick, all you got to do is drop a like on today's show. Get the good vibes rolling into Chicago, and I would really appreciate it. It helps us push this video out to more and more Bulls fans. So let's talk about the Bulls possibly trading up for Donovan Clingan, as there are reports out there that a couple of teams in the top 5 could be open to a trade back. And I think the Bulls could be one of those teams that could trade up for the UCONN Center, who had a great year in 2023, averaging 13 points a game in only 22 minutes. Keep this in mind. It's not like he's playing, mid-30s or low 30 minutes per game. He only played 22 per night, but he was incredibly effective. 13 points, 7.4 rebounds. He's a menace at protecting the rim, hence why he did average 2.5 blocks per game. Incredibly efficient, shooting 64% from the field. Does struggle a little bit from the free throw line, as he only did shoot 58.3% from there this past year. But this is my dream Bulls draft pick. Obviously Alex Sarr, who's projected to go number 1 to Atlanta, he would be up there as well. But in terms of having another guy to be kind of part of this youth foundation for Chicago, I think Donovan Clingan would by far be my number 1 choice. And let's just say you had a Bulls young core of consisting of Coby White and Ayo Dosunmu as that backcourt of the future. They complement each other so very well, as Coby White being the more offensive-minded guard, Ayo Dosunmu being the more defensive-minded guard. Let's just say they do bring back Patrick Williams, he being that 3-and-D guy on the wing. And then if you could somehow trade up for Donovan Clingan, he's your center of the future. This would be a strong 4 for the Bulls to build around. But the question becomes now, who could trade back? Because I don't think Donovan Clingan's getting outside that top 6, top 7. Personally, I don't think he really has a chance to get out of the top 5. So who in the top 5 could be available to trade back? I think there's a couple teams that come to mind. I think the Hawks are going to sit there at that number 1 pick and take Alex Sarr. I think the Wizards will also stay there at 2. But there are, 3 teams. I think the Rockets, Spurs, and Pistons could all be available for a trade back. Now, let's just say the Spurs. We'll start with them here. Would the Spurs be willing to give up the number 4 pick in a weaker draft class, which this draft class obviously is, for a guy like Zach LaVine? Or the Spurs obviously do have the 8th pick, but I don't think the Bulls could get Clingan at pick 8. I think San Antonio could be a dark horse team. Obviously, it would be incredibly hard to match salaries with LaVine's $44 million cap hit. But, 3-team trades happen all the time in the NBA. Maybe the Spurs view LaVine as their top trade target, and they go all in on this Victor Wembanyama, rookie deal. Maybe they offer pick number 4 for LaVine. But the team I think that is most likely to move off their top 5 pick is that team right there, the Houston Rockets. And now maybe the Bulls could throw in a guy like Alex Caruso and pick 11, and then they go trade up to the Rockets pick at number 3. They'd obviously have to add in a salary filler to match contracts of Caruso's $9 million. But listen, I'd be all in on the Bulls going all in on a guy like Donovan Clingan. And yes, this could be an overpay in some of you guys' opinions, but this dude is an absolute dog. He is 7'2", 280 pounds, and I think he can continue to fill out his frame. I don't think it would be, hard for him to fill it out, as sometimes we do see these taller, lankier centers do have an issue putting on weight, but he's already up to 280. I think he could get to a solid 220 or 295. And my pro comp for him, what about a guy like Walker Kessler, who did fall in a previous draft just because people didn't think he was going to be that impactful in the league? But I think teams will obviously learn from that mistake. That's why I do think Clingan will go so high. And his biggest strength, no doubt, his interior defense. He's got a super long wingspan, the ability to protect the rim at some of the highest level we have seen in college basketball. But one of his weaknesses, he's kind of a one-trick pony. His versatility is not there on either sides of the floor. He's okay at switching on the guards. Just due to his natural length, he actually does a pretty good job. But, obviously when you do get to the pros, Like, these guards are just so much more dynamic. So, that's definitely a weakness for him. Then also offensively, struggles with touch around the rim. There was clips of him before this past season absolutely drilling three-pointers. So maybe he does have a potential to be a stretch five, but this is my overall kind of scouting report for Clingan. But in terms of the trade with the Rockets, would you accept this trade? If you're a Rockets fan watching this video, also let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. But it's the Bulls giving up Alex Caruso and pick 11, and they trade up to the number 3 pick. And obviously you have to have a salary filler in there to match Alex Caruso's $9 million. But let me know, would you accept this trade? A for accept or D for decline? I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat. And I love Alex Caruso. He's probably one of my favorite players to watch in NBA history. Just the grit and grind he plays with. I mean, hence why he won the Hustle Award this past season for the NBA. But I think the Bulls just need to start the youth movement. And a guy like Alex Caruso, yes, he is effective with the Bulls, but he would be so much more effective with a team who is truly, truly trying to win an NBA championship. I'm not necessarily saying the Rockets are, but they're going more towards that direction than the Bulls. And this is just a situation where I think the Bulls just, might need to just rip this Band-Aid off. And, so that's why I would think giving up Caruso, but I just think the Bulls need to start this youth movement, and moving off Caruso to trade up to number 3 would be a great way to do so. But a more likely pick for the Chicago Bulls at number 11, if they do stay there, would be a guy like Cody Williams, the forward from Colorado. I'll be giving you guys my thoughts on him and giving you guys a full deep dive here in a second. But first, I want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. If you guys go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use that promo code CLNS, we're going to match your first deposit all the way up to $100. With NBA playoffs here, guys, there's no better time to start making PrizePicks lineups. It just adds that much extra juice to these games. And they also have a sweet deal going on right now with Caitlin Clark making her debut tomorrow, Tuesday, in the WNBA, her regular season debut. They have a deal going on right now where it's half a point. And if you guys just take the more on that, you guys will have a free winner. I'm pretty much banking on Caitlin Clark at least getting 1 point in her debut. So if you guys want to add that to your PrizePicks lineup for the NBA games either tonight or tomorrow, I really encourage you guys to do so. So head over to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use that promo code CLNS, and we are going to match your first deposit up to $100. PrizePicks, you pick more, you pick less. It is that easy. The #1 daily fantasy app out there. Link for that will be in the comments and description of today's show. Now let's dive into Cody Williams. The more I look into this guy, the more I fall in love with his possible fit with the Chicago Bulls. I'll be giving you guys my deep scouting report with him right now. My favorite part about Cody Williams is he's 19 years old. Like a lot of these guys in this year's class are 20, 21 coming out, but he is only 19, and he also has a great frame. He is 6'8", super long wingspan, 190 pounds. Could fill out that frame obviously a little bit more, but with Cody Williams, like his frame, like when you watch him on the court, like it's going to be easy for him to put muscle on his body. When you can just tell with certain guys, like that's why with Wemby, when he was coming out, everybody's freaking out, like, oh, look at how tall and skinny he is, but look at how broad his shoulders are. He's kind of built like an upside down Christmas tree a little bit, where he is just going to be easily able to put on muscle, and I think Cody Williams is the same way. But his numbers this past season, with actually not getting that much usage in the Colorado offense, were fantastic. And then obviously the efficiency should stand out to you right now, as he did shoot 55.2% from the deck and 41.5% from downtown, averaging 12 points a game in 28 minutes a game for the Buffaloes this past season. And this is what an anonymous NBA executive had to say on Cody Williams. I thought it was a pretty cool quote. He said, "I have Cody Williams towards the top of my board. He shows two-way potential, and he shot the ball well this year. He's got the pedigree with his brother Jalen, who's already in the NBA, so he knows what it takes." And that's a great point, actually, since Jalen Williams completely took this next step this past season. I just like that he's cut from the same cloth. But he said, "I think he's fairly easy to project. He just needs to get stronger, which he should through maturation. He seems to have a pretty promising future." And I totally agree. Like, I think Cody Williams is going to be, one of the top players that come out of this year's class. And that's why my pro comp for him is a guy in the Minnesota Timberwolves, Jaden McDaniels. I always think about that Anthony Edwards quote where it's like, oh, they got KD, well, we got Jaden McDaniels. I absolutely love that. But that's my pro comp for him, as I think the Bulls just need to get more Jaden McDaniels type of players. Like, I thought Patrick Williams was going to be that, that long athletic wing who can guard 1 through 4. I thought Patrick Williams was going to be that, but, I think you could find that replacement in a guy like Cody Williams. He moves actually a lot better than Patrick Williams in terms of his horizontal defense, which, obviously will help him stay in front of these elite defender or offensive players at the next level. But I think he's going to work out, and that's why my number one or two of my strengths for him is his finishing at the rim and his defense. Anytime he's in transition, he is putting rim pressure better than a lot of players I have ever seen play college basketball. But one of his weaknesses is his shot creation. I don't know if I could chalk this up to, Colorado just not asking him to do that much, as they did have a lot of veterans on that team where he wasn't allowed to, create as much. It was a lot of more kind of him stepping in the flow of the offense type of feel as why he did get to his 12 points per game. But, I don't know if it's a weakness for him or is it just because Colorado didn't ask him to do that. We'll obviously have to wait and see how he develops in the NBA. But my take on him, he's a very smooth player. Like defensively, offensively, like his game is very smooth. It's not like a Paul George level of smoothness, but it is like Jaden McDaniels level of smoothness. And I love that comp that I came up for him. Like when I see him play is how I looked at a young Jaden McDaniels. And, I think he can excel with a defined role in the NBA. Like if you expect, Cody Williams to come in and, be a Paul George and you're giving him all the shots and you're, asking him to guard the other team's best player and you're putting a lot on his plate, like I don't think that would be the best for him. But if you say, hey, you're going to be an elite wing defender and you knock down the open three when you get the chance, like that's where I feel like he could excel and potentially become one of the best 3-and-D players in the NBA. But let me know, who is your top Bulls draft target? Is it Donovan Clingan? Is it Cody Williams? If I had to say like my dream Bulls draft target, it's Donovan Clingan, but my dream most realistic target would 100% be Cody Williams. But you guys let me know your thoughts down below. And guys, also make sure you guys are subscribed here to the channel. We're going to be posting Bulls videos about the draft all offseason long until that date eventually comes. So hit that subscribe button, lock us in, and we'll see you guys next time. As always, go Bulls.